Joining us on the program right now, Chuck Michelle, California civil rights attorney. Chuck, how you doing, sir?
Good, Cam. How are you?
I am okay. Tell me what's going on with Oakland, California? They're trying to get a carve out to California's preemption laws.
Oh yeah, they're going off the rails. Everybody out here is going. This place is crazy. This entire state is crazy. Thank God we have nice weather, though. Oakland is trying to get a carve out from the state preemption law. California's preemption law was passed years and years ago during the Reagan administration, because cities were passing laws that were criminalizing various things. It was a patchwork of confusing and different laws. You basically had to have a lawyer to travel from one city to another with a gun in your car to go hunting or shooting. And to get rid of some of that, the state passed a preemption law. Unfortunately, that law is not as strong as many other states are that the NRA has gotten preemption doctrine laws passed in. It only covers the registration and licensing of firearms rather than all possession and all aspects of firearms ownership. But nonetheless, it's been effective in stopping several very bad ideas, not the least of which was San Francisco's latest effort to ban civilian possession of handguns. That was the Fiscal case, which the NRA, I was privileged to represent NRA members in that case of a few years ago. Now Oakland wants to get a carve-out, and we knew this was going to be coming because last year Los Angeles County got a carve-out from the state preemption law for air guns because they wanted to basically ban airsofts. And now Oakland wants to get a carve-out for real firearms. And if they get this, they will essentially ban firearms. They will have the authority to do everything up to just about that. And so they'll ban, the 22 rimfire will become an assault weapon, and a pea shooter will become an assault weapon. Everything will be banned. And then the next year we'll see an effort to repeal preemption entirely and make it possible for every city to pass draconian gun bans. And we'll be right back where we were decades ago with people accidentally breaking the law every time they cross a city line.
The more things change, the more they stay the same here. And I thought it was fascinating, Chuck, that one of the purported reasons for this, they say, look, we have one of the worst violent crime rates in the nation there in Oakland, California. And yet, California has, according to the Brady campaign, the best gun laws in the country. How can this be?
Yeah, and Oakland has some of its own gun control laws. It drove its own gun dealer out of the city with a special tax on firearm purchases and everything else in the sporting goods store. It's not like they haven't tried stuff locally. The only thing that was working, interestingly enough, that they used to have a few years ago was Project Exile, which is sort of the variation on the Operation Ceasefire theme that NRA started back in Boston and Virginia that appears to be about the only thing that works. But they've kind of abandoned that now and are trying to go after tried and failed gun control measures again. But yeah, we're the laboratory of failed gun control policies out here. And it's interesting. David Hardy is doing an article on this right now about how the California situation sort of proves the point of the slippery slope. Years ago, we said the things that you're trying to do now won't work, and they said, "Oh, don't worry, this is all we want." Well, the next year they're back with more and more and more, and so we've gone from a few laws to about 800 different gun control laws. That's not violent crime laws. That's gun possession or types of guns or gun sales regulations, none of which are making any difference when it comes to preventing violent crime.
Yeah, but as you say, that doesn't really seem to matter this legislative session. Not only do you have AB 180, that's the bill that would give Oakland the carve-outs it's asking for. There are a ton of other bills out there on both the Assembly and the Senate side, Chuck.
Yeah, and none of them are very good. Now, I don't know how they'll all shake out. A lot of those are making their way to the Assembly floor now, where some of the Central Valley Blue Dog Democrats may stop some of them. It remains to be seen. But after that, it's the Senate and then the governor's desk. So I just don't know. I tell you what, though, there are roughly 33 to 6% sort of conservatives out here in the state of California. That's not enough to win an election. But if every single one of those people makes the phone calls and writes the emails through the calnra.com website or through the nraila.com website and subscribe to those ILA bulletins so you know when to act, if every person made those calls and melted those phones, that would make a difference. So that's what we're counting on. We had some great response when the federal stuff was hitting the fan, and now we really need it out here. Now we're in the last few months or weeks of the legislative session, and now's the time to get plugged in, to get informed, and to take action. If you're not part of the solution at this point, really you're part of the problem out here. So we need everybody on board.
Absolutely, and I know that the thinking among many gun owners in California may be, look, the fix is in. We're not going to be able to stop this. You have got to be active. You have got to be involved. Every voice does matter in the state of California, and it's not just about the legislation. It is about litigation strategies, which is why the California Legal Project is so important. Gun owners have to be active, and they've got to be involved in every way that they can.
Speaking of the legal efforts, would you like a scoop?
Yes. Oh, we always like scoops. Yes.
Today, we filed in New York, and folks should keep in mind that the landscape has changed post-Heller and McDonald. If we get a good decision in another state, we can use it in California. So there can be a certain amount of a benefit from us acting in other states. So today, we filed in the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association v. Cuomo case in New York, a brief on behalf of a number of different law enforcement agencies, including the New York State Sheriff's Association, a number of individual sheriffs, the Law Enforcement Legal Defense Fund, the Law Enforcement Action Network, and the International Law Enforcement Educators and Training Association, ILETA. That's one of the biggest law enforcement training groups in the country, if not I think it is the biggest. And along with the lawyers from this firm, we actually have Edwin Meese, the former United States Solicitor General and Chief of Staff for President Reagan, signing on to the brief with us, along with a number of other very prestigious lawyers and sheriffs. So we're fighting New York's SAFE Act, misnamed SAFE Act, which effectively bans certain firearms that they misclassify as assault weapons,
right,
and the infamous 7-round/10-round, what is it that's a high-capacity magazine again? They're all standard capacity magazines, but you can't put more than 7 rounds in a magazine that can't hold over 10 rounds.
We had the guy arrested yesterday for having 9 rounds, or I guess it was Sunday night. He was arrested 9 rounds in the 10-round magazine.
Yeah. There's a nefarious criminal we just got off the street.
I know. I'm so glad this monster's been put away for a matter of hours while he was booked on misdemeanor charges and then released. I mean, this is the other lie, Chuck, of Governor Cuomo. We've only got about 30 seconds here. They say these laws are going to stop criminals. They're not. They'll make life miserable for the law-abiding who make mistakes. But these charges are going to be dropped in an armed robbery case. These are misdemeanor charges. They're not going to do anything.
They create accidental criminals. That's what California's been doing for 30 years.
There you go.
Create bad criminals out of good people.
Chuck, we are out of time, but thank you so much, sir, for coming on the program, and I know we'll be talking again very soon.
Look forward to it, Cam. Thanks.
Thank you, too. Me too, sir. Chuck Michel, California civil rights attorney with us here.